Hey everyone, Fire here. Today I'm going to be bringing you my Doom Blast Occultist guide for patch 3.20. Doom Blast is a skill that is triggered by the impending Doom support, and it is very overtuned currently. It has similar hit rate scaling to Cast on Crit, but it does not need to invest very hard to get there, unlike Cast on Crit. It's also got a pretty high base damage built in. You don't really have to do much to get what it's offering to the player. So we're going to put that into a 6-link with Spell Cascade and Temp Chains, and we're also going to be running Vixen's Entrapment with 3 curses. Now, our curse limit is 3, and we are running a total of 4 curses that are going to be casting every time we curse. So every time I cast Temp Chains, my Vixen's Entrapment is also casting 3 curses as well. That's 4 curses. Now, the way this works is it goes, Punishment goes first, then I believe like Enfeeble, Despair, and Temp Chains, and that strips away Punishment because we've exceeded the curse limit. However, the sequence keeps going thanks to Spell Cascade, so now another punishment gets applied, and that strips off my Enfeeble, so on and so forth. And eventually, Temp Chains get stripped off as a result of this, and Impending Doom procs. Now, as you can see here, that was 12 curses. It may not look like much. Every time we cast, I'm getting 12 curses out, so we're getting 2 to 3 Temp Chains strips every cast, and this means that we're always dealing the most amount of damage that we can with Impending Doom. Unlike Cast on Crit, Impending Doom has charges, not just a cooldown. This means that you don't have to line up cast speeds with breakpoints and stuff like that the way you do with Cast on Crit. You just use the skill and it's going to use up all of the charges as soon as you can. Now, we're using some pretty cool power charge stacking tech in this build. Obviously, this build wants a lot of area of effect, so we're using Forbidden Power. This is the power charge that Occultist gets, and then we're getting the 3 on the tree. That brings us to 7. Void Battery brings us to 8, and Malachai's Loop brings us all the way to 10. This shield gives 2 power charges. However, it comes at the penalty of applying shock when you reach maximum power charges, and also costing you all of your power charges when you reach max. Now, we're running shock immunity basically to counteract the first penalty, and the second penalty is being made up for with these boots. The way these boots work, every time I'm standing still, I am at max charges unconditionally, and nothing can stop that. So no matter what's going on here, I know it says I lose all my power charges when I'm at max, but I can't lose power charges right now. So while you're moving, you have no charges, but you stop to cast and all of your charges are straight back. I believe it's impossible to deal damage without being at max charges in this build, so it's not something you have to ever worry or think about. It just works passively on its own, which is really cool. The thing I love about Relic Ashes Impatience is that it allows us to circumvent the inner conviction penalty. So we just run Badge, and then we have 10 max frenzy charges, and inner conviction, despite saying we can't gain frenzy charges, doesn't do anything. We can still hit the 10 frenzy charges, we get the 30% more spell damage, and we get the 40% more damage from frenzy charges at the same time. As if all of this stuff wasn't cool enough, the Sandstorm Visage item is a new item that was added this league. It's very, very strong. It basically, I'm gonna cut a very long story short because I don't have all night, but basically, Impending Doom has a 5% chance to crit, and when I wear Sandstorm Visage, because I have a Harvest Enchanted Void Battery, Impending Doom goes from 5 to 8.4% crit. It's over 60% crit, which is a hell of a lot considering we're already scaling increased critical strike chance. These two things multiply together, and they make it very easy for this build to hit the crit cap. You can also see from this PoB, we are running about 20k evasion and 20k armor, and as we go higher investment, we are going to get a lot more armor, but we're going to scale back some of that evasion in favor of being able to double down on our physical max hit. The defenses in this build are very unconventional, but they seem to be working for the time being, and as I improve them, I will make changes to the PoBs, but basically, we are replacing the spell suppression with Eldritch Battery Mind Over Matter. Now, this kind of works like 40% damage reduction, which isn't as strong as spell suppression, but it still works against all the other damage types, attacks, and damage over time. And then we're also running Enfeeble. Enfeeble is a very, very large damage reduction tool nowadays. It's as strong as Fortify, and because this build is able to apply curses to pretty much the whole screen at any given time, you always get the benefit of Enfeeble against all the mobs. The only time Enfeeble doesn't work is against environmental effects, such as the Searing Exarch's Boulder Phase, but I got you covered. Frost Shield. So Frost Shield basically is going to drain our energy shield temporarily, and then it's going to give us a very nice big shield. We can stand inside of this, and it's going to take a lot of damage for us for a whole 10 seconds. It's also giving us a very nice amount of base crit. We get about 1.5 to 1.6 base crit. So I think just under half the benefit you're getting from this helmet, I believe. And yeah, it's a very strong, very nice and strong combo. Anything that isn't able to be debuffed by Enfeeble, you can just use Frost Shield. But the great thing is, obviously, for bosses, you're going to be using both, right? The boss is going to be cursed with Enfeeble, and they're also going to be having their damage mitigated by Frost Shield while you're nuking them because you need the spell crit. As for what we're doing with recovery, I don't have a good answer for you. We're running a Divine Shield, Ghost Dance, we're running a bunch of Recoup. We have some spell damage leech via our gloves. We have some life leech via our Watcher's Eye. We have a small amount of regen built into the build, but we don't have any big mechanic that says, hey, you get to restore a whole bunch of life and energy shield for doing XYZ. So I would like to change that. I'd like to find much more straightforward ways of scaling the recovery of this build, both for life and energy shield. But at the moment, we haven't found the right way. So we're just using this like smattering of different methods, which appears to be working well enough. Now, the reason this video is not going to be super long is because I spent the entire day putting all of the information in my brain into the PoBs and into this spreadsheet. So you have 4 PoBs here. You have a budget version for 10 Divines. It's pretty much the one from the showcase. I put the showcase together for about 4 Divines, but I'm going to say 10 Divines because likely some of the items are probably going to go up in price. I'm really worried about the skins. The supply of them is not particularly good, and we don't have alternative body armors, but I've done my best to provide you with alternatives, so we're just going to have cross our fingers and hope for the best. Now, for the mid-range, you have a couple of options. I really like playing this skill with Lightning Warp. I feel like this is the perfect skill for Lightning Warp. Lightning Warp's main problem is that on a lot of skills you need to aim, and with Lightning Warp, you sometimes go too far forward, and it's just kind of uncomfortable. This build, especially once you have the double Awakened Spell Cascade, you're screen wide at all times. So you just Lightning Warp onto the next screen, you tap your curse, everything dies. You can Lightning Warp to the next screen. You can watch my showcase for the Doom Blaster. It's the video previous to this one. I released it, I believe, 3 days ago or so, and that version of the build has, funnily enough, less damage than the 4 Divine Budget one does now. We've min-maxed it that bloody hard that if I were to re-put that character back together on the budget that it was in the video, the Doom Blaster video, I could probably have it at about 3 to 4 times the amount of damage given all of the information that we now know. We were scaling it all wrong initially, but we've fortunately solved all those problems. Okay, and the other option you get is Shield Charge. I think a lot of people are going to be fine to just keep playing Shield Charge. I know personally I'm going to go Lightning Warp, but some people are saying already that they want to go Shield Charge, and some of you are really adamant that you want to go Lightning Warp, so I've just done PoBs for both, and you have the option to play around with both. You should check them both out. If you go Lightning Warp, you are giving up a fair bit of damage in order to get an enchanted helm, and there's a bit of crafting that has to happen for that to work out, but I guess you'll see when you click on it. And then on the top end, we have a 300 to 600 Divine PoB. This sounds pretty ridiculous to most of you. It's mostly here as a best in slot list. I don't intend for you to put this character together. I'm putting it here so that if you do want to take the character further, because I do think this is going to be a great juicer build, I'm probably going to be playing it for the rest of the league. It's very fast when it's scaled up. It's competitive with a lot of the other top skills in that regard. So if you do want to do that, you have a best in slot list. You can pick which upgrades you want to work towards, and then you can save up and work towards them. You're probably not going to get all of the upgrades, but I'm going to try this league. I might try and just fill out this PoB and finish it off. I already have all the damage I need at the moment with like half of this, so we'll see how we go. But yeah, okay, and all the shopping lists are over here. Now, I haven't formatted them as of yet. I'm probably not going to get around to it until tomorrow or the day after. But as you can see, there are shopping lists with trade links for every single thing. So if you even look at the Skin of the Lords here, I'm giving you a bunch of different options for different gem colors, and you can just click on here and it's going to open up a link. And once the links open, you will see that I've already pre-filtered out all of the bad keystones for you. So all of the links here are going to be highly useful. I've taken the time to pre-filter out all of the bad stuff from them. When we have the helm crafting, for example, and you can look up isolated power charge helmets, for example. So these power charge helmets are not going to have any other warlord mods on them. I've made damn sure. Right, so as you can see, it can't be any of the other warlord mods. So all of these links, you can just use them, and you don't have to worry, you don't have to think twice. I've taken everything into consideration as much as I can for you guys. If you find any mistakes, though, hit me up. I want to get this fixed ASAP because a lot of people are going to be using this, presumably. I don't want people to get screwed over. And yeah, you can just see that for every single slot, we have a bunch of different options, and it sort of explains why you might want to pick these options, maybe for budget reasons, supply, etc. But yeah, all the stuff that you need is there, and these shopping lists should cover all of the different levels of investment. So for example, you can see here you have a literally just any Vixen's entrapment from the top link. So this is like if you're really out of money and you want to put the build together and like you have like 10C left, yeah, you can buy a corrupted Vixen's entrapment for 2C, right? But on the other hand, then down the bottom here, you have a corrupted +2 gems Vixens in case you're already at the crit cap on the high budget, high investment version of the build. What are some other examples? Like over here on our badge, I have a filter for all of the good corruptions you can get on a badge of the Brotherhood, stuff like that. So this spreadsheet should keep you going, and if there's anything that needs to be added to it, I will add it straight away. I will keep it perfectly updated. This should be your go-to guide for everything Doomblast related this league. If you like this video, give me a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on stream.